Hello again. Uh, Time to time, I stop to remembering how this World of Tanks game looked in earlier days when I started to play. And mm, to be honest, I do this remembering a lot, or I don't know, do I a lot, but pretty often. And maybe it's a sign, typical sign of a yeah for a human being who is getting older. He starts to remember how the things was earlier years and how good those early years was. But that gave me an idea to do this video for it. So I record some of videos in this title of old times. The first time, our first video is about some very common things what I remember the first. Um, what I'm remembering almost every day when I'm playing this game. There's a couple of things what are uh, which is on my back of my head. And the first one is the gold ammunitions. Uh, this is the thing what has been changed in the game a lot, and it affects a lot nowadays. Uh, Pretty much, this change has been uh, if it's affect a lot many things on this game, and I'm talking about the early days when the gold ammunition was really gold ammunitions, and I mean that uh, at the first years when I started to play, it was 2013 or 14. I can't remember exactly what was the year when I started my first account or I tried this game, but it was something like that. And in those days, the gold ammunitions can be bought only with gold, and obviously the gold was in that days it was currency what you can get only by buying it with the real money. So that means that no one spam the gold because it's getting pretty expensive way to play game. If you are spamming gold in those days, it affect straight on your wallet, no matter if you are using euros or dollars or whatever, but it affect a lot for that. For example, here's the screen capture format T49, and there's one gold ammunition cost 13 gold. So if you are spamming that, let's say 10 ammunitions per game, and you play, let's say 20 games per week and so on, you can easily calculate how much your game is going to cost for you in month and so on. They changed this for the option that you can choose are you buying those gold ammunitions by gold or credits, and that was the breaking point, or how I see it. It changed it. That was the historical point where what changed this game for good. Because to be honest, gold ammunitions are very cheap way to get much better. I don't say it's better game experience. Maybe for the people who is using gold, it's better gaming experience. But uh, it boosts up a lot of your tank when you're using gold. And the mechanism how it works is that more you do damage, more you get credits. And so if you are uh, spamming gold nowadays uh, wisely, you are always getting those invested back, especially if you are using premium tanks and so on. And nowadays, the only way how you can get those so-called gold ammunitions is to use credits. And what's bad about gold ammunitions? Well, when everybody's using cold ammunition, you can strip down, let's say, 15 to 100 millimeters of your armor because the penetration of the cold ammunition is so much better. So, in other words, the armor of the tanks has been uh, they are getting worse, or they are lost meaning of their armors, and that's a very sad thing because to me the main thing in this game is armor, and when it's corrupted like this way, it's very sad. It took away main point of this game. But again, the topic remembering the times when the gold ammunition was really the gold ammunition. And it's funny that some players who has been played all these years are still remembering that the gold ammunition is just a go for spamming gold. Because a couple of weeks ago, one player who was complaining for me that I used gold uh, gold ammunition on the battle. He complaining me on the chat that you are spamming, you're gold noob, and you are spamming so much gold for your ammunition. And I have to wrote him back. Sorry about that, but just reminding you that you cannot even buy gold ammunition by gold. That time has been changed. Yeah, but that was the thing. That's what I to be honest, I remembering that every time when I'm playing, every day when I'm playing World of Tanks. And to me, how I see it, that how to make this game better, wargaming should do something about this. I don't mean that gold ammunitions have to be bought again by gold or bonds, but those gold ammunitions are way too effective by the penetration, and they are way much too cheap to use them. Maybe if they're more expensive, people stop to use spamming them so much. Just because the gaming is getting so much expensive that way. Back in the day, no one spammed gold because it was so expensive way to play. I remember that I had some of those tanks which have pretty crappy penetration. I always carried two or three gold ammunition for, and every time when I was that corner that I should use them, I I started thinking in like a invest that should I use or not. Well, yeah. Next thing, the era of terror. Waffenträger of E100. Everyone knows this. It has been come back in those missions, and this is the tank what I honestly wanted so bad. I remember that I saw this in action in battle in early days, and when I saw this first time, I knew I want this. And I started to grind that tech tree. And those days, grinding was very hard and it took lots of time. There wasn't these special missions or any kind of goodies what make the grinding faster or so on. No blueprints or something. And I was grinding, and it was about estimated 2 weeks before I was uh, grinding my way to the tier 10 and to get this E100. Wargaming announced that they are taking this tank away and replace it with the Grille. And it was funny way that they announced this thing like, "Don't worry, players, that you get uh, good as E100 with the Grillet. That you don't miss this tank at all. Don't worry." And okay, I finished my grinding and get Grille 15, and it was big disappointed. Obviously, because I was waiting for autoloader, which was so overpowered that in that time that it was crazy. Well, I played Krill, and the sad thing that during the years they nerfed it that Krill also, Krill 15. So uh, nowadays you cannot even compare in any kind of point of view this Waffenträger and Krill 15. When we are remembering the Waffenträger, it's easiest to watch these values, what it got. This is the latest version of Waffenträger before they took it away, and these are without any kind of peaks or perks or equipments. And what we can see here, what is very crazy is that clip size 5 rounds with almost 500 alpha damage per shot, and that means that almost 2,500 under 10 seconds potential clip damages. The aim time 1.44. That's crazy. I mean that aiming circle, it's getting back very fast, and this person the accuracy very crazy also 0.29 without any kind of goodies. And when we are pump it up with all the what we can add it for skill, those perks and equip and so on, these are the values for it. So the cold ammunition's penetration 311, and reload time drops. The reload time was the bad thing about this. It was the main idea, I guess, that Wargaming thinking that it has so long reload time, it's going to draw back this tank, but honestly, it doesn't. You just have that almost 1 minute time to wait, and after that, fun beginnings. And when and that 8 seconds has gone, when you are going back in a corner again and wait 1 minute. Uh, After all those equipment so on, it drops pretty decent. I don't know, 42 or 43 seconds. It's pretty long time, but still it drops a lot. And when we are looking those aiming time, about 1 second. That's crazy. And dispersion. That's, I mean, in those days, the RNG it doesn't work so much, or I don't remember if there was RNG so much on the accuracy of the game. So when you are aiming and what is your tank's dispersion, it isn't, and RNG doesn't affect that or ruin your aiming so much. And 0.21. So what this mean with this setup? With those 8 seconds, you can hit everything like a laser, and you can do that 2,500 damages under 10 seconds. I can see why they took this away, but this isn't the crazy version. This was a 129 millimeter gun. They had also that 155 or 15 or something like that. Lots bigger gun with or was it 3 or 5 rounds autoloader, and they also had, far as I remember, this 128 caliber gun with the yeah, it was 6 rounds for, I can't remember, but it was much more crazier than what we are seeing right here. So they nerfed it, and this was the latest outcome before they took this away. Well, um, of course, I want this back because I so much wanted this and I didn't get. And all these years I have been dreaming that if I would get those Waffenträger, I even think that I would pay some kind of amount of money for get it if it would be an premium tank from a shop like they do in Russia and China. But I don't know. I wanted this so bad, and I have been thinking that would it be so bad nowadays because game has been changed and those tanks what we are seeing today, they it I would see this that this would be okay today, but obviously they have to nerf some those values. Uh, this aiming time and the accuracy are way too good for nowadays too. But in when I start to think what is how is the game is nowadays, I can't help myself to comparing to AMX 50 for speed, and these are values what 50 for speed is nowadays. So when we are comparing, these are pretty close. Uh, Clip size is bigger. The one ammunition's alpha damage is a little less, uh, but the total potential of the magazine is pretty much the same. But because the one shell is there's one more shell there, that's why uh, the whole clip or magazine potential time is bigger. Uh, and no, well, this aiming time and dispersion are much worse at the AMX. Well, the accuracy isn't, but aiming time. But nowadays, under 2 seconds is very good. So when we are comparing in this way, I don't see that AMX isn't so far away. DPM is better because the reloading time is much more shorter. Uh, yeah, well, someone would say that, well, AMX don't have a turret, and that's why the Waffenträger is so overpowered. Well, that's true, but well, Waffenträger don't have basically any kind of uh, turret armor, and AMX has. Well, not good, but it has some kind of armor and it can bounce shots. But yeah, again, Waffenträger E would be a little bit more flexible, what's AMX 54B isn't. And that's true. AMX 54B is pretty much uh, clumsy brick on the battlefield. But nevertheless, the gun and what are the values in paper, I don't see that they are not so far away to each other. And these values are the olden days values what we are having here from a Waffenträger and Traeger, and this is nowadays. So there has been changes a lot about equipment and so on. And if you are comparing in nowadays values, it looks like this. And these both have same perks and so on, those goodies what you can add. So we can see that nowadays, if we have that Waffenträger E100, DPM isn't that great. To be honest, it's very bad, and I don't see that Waffenträger would be so bad nowadays. Obviously, they have to nerf those accuracy and aiming time things, but nevertheless, of the it's aligned with the FOSS-P. And if they, I will remember those talks why they have to take this tank away because they cannot balance it. Well, in those days maybe that's a true, but nowadays I don't see that it's it's the whole picture because nowadays they can nerf really real sneaky way the tanks. For example, intra-click reload time if we change this 2 to 3 seconds, it changes a lot these tanks characters and how it works. But yeah, I hope that they bring Waffenträger back. Nevertheless, well, another topic which is very common that yeah, but it's not a real tank and so on. Well, to be honest, half of the tanks, or not the half of the tanks, let's say 20 or 30% of the tanks in the World of Tanks game isn't real. They are more or less fakes. Uh, it's sometimes it's funny to read those articles when they are introducing new tank that this was has some kind of drawing, and to be honest, there are no any kind of evidence that that tank has been even drawing at the, let's say, mm, cigarette box back of there's no any kind of proof that there's drawings, and that's these blueprints are also pretty hazy. They're just saying that this has some kind of drawings, but to be honest, they are not. And all the tanks, I would say that all the tanks what is in the game isn't act like the real tank. There's a lot of different kind of characters which are not the real. So, for example, IS-3 doesn't have basically any kind of compression, and the game has some kind of, far as I remember, 5 degrees or something. In real life, it doesn't have, and because it designed it on the Auburn for for war or fights. So it has been it's not a real at the game. Also, the armor of the IS-3 in the real life is much more trickier than what the game showing. So, and the game, the whole armor doesn't work at all, though it's pretty crappy. In the real life, story is different. So my point is that uh, there's a lot of fake in this game, and why not? Because it's a fictional pixel game, and the biggest fake thing in the game is, for example, with these wheeled vehicles. When when you are shooting, let's say, 75 millimeter or 100 millimeter or 122 millimeter or even 150 millimeter gun on to the wheeled vehicle wheel, what it happens? Well, it stops, or not even, it doesn't stop. It slowed down that vehicle because it absorbed that shell, and with about 10 seconds it drops the speed of the wheeled vehicle, let's say 10 or 15 kilometers per hour, and after that it fixes it by it moves, which is it is something you don't see in the real life, and after that it's everything is good again. So talking about fakes, in real life, if you are shooting, let's say, 20 millimeter gun on to the wheeled vehicle to the wheel, it stops there. It doesn't move after that anywhere. So to be honest, let's get the crap about this, which is fake and which isn't. Next, climbing. Um, this was the feature what I like in the game, or climbing, not climbing itself, but I like the idea that everything what you have in the map, you can go or discover them as long as your tank is capable to do that, or the physics of the game allows that, and that was great. It took or it brings a new point of view how to enjoy the game and so on. And I I like to discover a map and find the positions where I can play better. And after all, what is the one of the main things how you can improve your gaming is to find those positions, and positions are the most important, one of the most important thing in a game when you are try to get better. Climbing was one of those ways, and I have some examples. I have took the screen capture from YouTube videos where are those tutorials about how to claim in the olden days, and these are pretty crazy things, and they reminds what kind of game uh, it was earlier. This climbing options has been stripped down. The wargaming has been developed these invisible walls, what they have been put on the maps, so players cannot do this climbing. At least not so much as the earlier days, and uh, they can there's some possibilities to climb, but not so much anymore, and that's shame. Let's see those examples. Here's Appy, the map which is again here nowadays. Also you can play, and there's all these hills what we can see here. Pretty much all these black areas you can climb them if you know how, and at least if you have some help from your teammates. But a lot of these places what map offers, you can go by yourself if you know how and you have right tank, and you can see what kind of effect this have. When you are going here, you are spotter, or you can play like a TD. You can snipe the areas. All this, well, this middle section is a little bit black out, but all these areas you can snipe, spot, or whatever. Same position, but a different way view at this bigger picture. You can imagine how strong these positions are, and well, the reason why they have obviously stripped down this feature might lean on that these overpowered uh, positions are changing the outcome of the game. Even one tank can do that. And when you are these kind of positions, the enemy cannot do anything for you, or it's very hard to do something about it. Mines, I remember I these climbing positions. There was this hill and this hill, and there's on the side of here you can go. And what I remember, if you are in those days correctly go, you can go to the middle on the from the side of the hill, and yeah, and this is one of the screen capture from those days mm, games where this bad chat is find his ways to here, and in those that uh, video this bad chat almost killed by himself all the enemy team. Red Shy, this was one of my favorite climbing places. What I on the old maps, and this was in this position. I did my all-time record in doing damages for UDES 03. This map is still we have this same map, but it has been changed uh, pretty much in every way. But there's same features and same characters still. For example, in here there's a Zeppelin which is having crashes right now, and this is the heavy line, and this black spot is that the hill behind this heavy line. And in those days when you are spamming in this red position, you just go here and take a speed and go and wiggle yourself in here, and after that you can go here, and here's trees and some bushes, and you can go there, and uh, that was very strong, so overpowered strong place, the position that you can take out everyone who's heavy heavies are coming here. You can take them out, spot yourself, and take them out. And you was so high and very hard position for the enemy to get you. So yeah, and also if you are alone, everyone else in your team has been dead, you can still keep your uh, team alive from this position, because you can it covers the your own cap circle, and you can defend it in the end. Same goes all around this area. What the view range is on this tank. Obviously, enemy can overtake you if his enemy team's players know how, and they have correct tanks. For example, this bad chat. If you enemy has that, it's pretty easy to take down this camper wood, which is in here. Same way I go there. So a little bit speed and wiggle and go there, and that's it. UDES 03 don't have any kind of chance when the patch comes with the full magazine. Mines is also, well, it's still we have this map, and it's getting a little boring, or I like to see that boring maps are these maps which has so much so-called black areas, because they are the areas where player cannot go. But back in the day, when there was no invisible walls, these areas was not the uh, places where you cannot go. When you know how, and again, right tanks, you can go almost anywhere. This screen capture is crazy. There's a again Batchat. In those days, Batchat was one of the best climbers. Uh, with little help of the friend, you can go here and you can uh, drive around here, and you can see almost everything on high of the hill. The mines has also a couple of very powerful, oh, to be honest, many of very powerful positions. This was one of them. When you're swimming here in a green circle, you go, and with the friends, you need friends. You can get this over this hill, and there you can cover the heavy line, the middle, and also almost everywhere. You can control your own side. The middle was very typical and very easy place to go in this. So I used a lot. You can go when you are going in this green corner over the bridge, a lot of speed, and wiggle yourself this way, and you can get to this burning church or whatever it is in the middle. Same goes here. I remember, if I remember correctly, you can go here and wiggle yourself and again. And with these middle positions, you can pretty much control the whole middle. But well, it wasn't that safe because it was pretty open. But nevertheless, it with the right tank, you can control or take or keep control in the middle. One of my favorite places too was in this hill, and it was pretty easy to get there. You go here around, and uh, you wiggle your way to this on this hill, and there you can see uh, the path from middle to your cap circle, and also the path from the bridge. And most important, you can pretty safely snipe out the players who are coming from a heavy line. And this was very effective place. Yes, that's about it. Uh, Tell me about what you are remembering these things. what I showed you. Let's go back. What kind of things these things brings to your mind, and what kind of uh, what you are think about these my memories. Please write those on the comment section, and it's interesting to see what is on your mind in these things. But that's it. Bye.